There we are. Hey, everybody. Thanks for stopping by here tonight. We're playing Temple of Elemental Evil. This is our episode 29. So we've had a fair number of these sessions here thus far. Thanks for the subscription. Appreciate that. Yeah, so we're 20 sides every story. If you haven't seen any of our stuff before, basically, we are a tabletop role playing game community. We usually have a game going just about every night of the week. So if you're interested in such stuff, definitely give us a follow and check out the schedule. You can see that down below the video feed, all the different things we got going on throughout the week. This game here, our Temple of Elemental Evil game, is a part of our community campaign where we invite really anybody that wants to be a part of what we do here can jump in and get into a game. So if you're looking to play a game with us, probably the best way to do so would just be drop into our Discord server and say, let us know that you're interested, and someone will point you in the way of how you can sign up for a game. And yeah, and we'll help you with character creation, everything like that. If you really are enjoying what we're doing, you can support me in the channel here by means of the Patreon. So you can check that out there. The big perk is that let the Patreon folks have the first priority for the game signups, but really anybody can get into a game if you would like. So those are the kind of the things here at the top. Let's get right into the game here. So I think we learned a lot during the last session. The party had basically most of the elemental cults had been defeated. There was just sort of a question mark over the air cult, and the party had sort of been invited to come and meet with Kelno. And they did so and learned that he was interested in joining forces or lending whatever help he could in an effort to defeat Lareth and his forces that have now occupied the temple. He has raised some concern that Lareth and his gang could be up to he's sort of speculating, but the fact that Zugat Moy, the demon queen of death and decay and fungus, is imprisoned here, and they may be trying to find a way to release her. And so that is his big worry and threat. He shed some light maybe on how the cults came to be, and it would seem that her method is she's got ways of mind controlling others through a fungus or a spore that she is able to spread. It seems like far reaching, even beyond her prison. She's been able to do this and had taken control of most of the cults were led by individuals that are afflicted by this. We have a couple of party members who were held captive by the fire cult for a bit of time. Sort of led to why was Alram so friendly of wanting to make a deal with the group to maybe get cozy with them. Well, it's probably for more of the group from Hamlet to be afflicted with this. So that is sort of a concern right now. He's brought back into the fold one of the other player characters, Dr. Heinrich, has been kind of enlisted to maybe find a way that he might be able to create a potion or concoction that could maybe alleviate that condition. But he needs supplies and he needs a work area. And so Kelno has shared. Kelno is from the time of the temple from 50 years ago. So he's been here before. He is a source of information. If you've got questions about general questions about the temple, he certainly hasn't poked and been through all of it, but he's probably the most familiar person that you have at your disposal to ask such questions. So he believes that there is a lab somewhere on the third level. That is his recollection, is there is such a place, and that if you could get to it, and assuming it hasn't been looted or taken over by Lareth, could be a resource to create that concoction. Yeah, I mean, other thing, the general concern about Lareth is still very much on the table. A long rest has transpired between last session and this one, and so we learned from a conversation that was happening between some bugbears and some goblinoids in a hallway on the second level that there was some talk that there was a wizard present somewhere here in the temple and that he might be teleporting in forces from afar. So, with every long rest, Laris forces are going to get stronger and stronger going forward. Um, what else? Yeah, just the general concern about has he found the golden skull, where it might be? That could be an objective to go and search for that. Um, and we don't know exactly where Lareth is in the temple complex at this point. A lot of time has elapsed since the last time that you would have seen him. So that's where we're going to open things up. We're going to, I think maybe before we get started with some discussions of the group about what they might do, let's do some character introductions here for the folks watching. Just give us just the general character info that you'd like to share about who your character is and how do they come to find themselves to be in the story at this point in time. And so, why don't we start here with Casey?
I'm Casey. I'm playing Humboldt. He is a barbarian and a matchmaker, and he's sort of stumbled into this particular adventure. At this point, he's pot committed. He is completely broke at this point. All he's got left is a fancy silver-bladed glaive and his armor. Um, so he can't even take the couple of jewels that he scrounged up from last adventure to get a healing potion. He's just stuck down here, now broke, his reputation on the line, and very angry at the many monsters down here. So that's Humboldt.
All right, I think we'll go over next to Galileo.
I'm Cliff. I'm playing Galileo. Galileo is a fourth level druid, and he's out in the world trying to prove himself. Because he took the circle of stars or as a druid, which is a bit unusual, and he wanted to show his family that that is a viable way to for a druid uh, to make a go at it. So he had to come out and join some adventurers to try and prove himself.
All right, let's go next over to Gabe.
Hi, I'm Gabe. I'm playing Thorwald Arno. He is a barbarian paladin, if you believe that. And he has had a run with Alrem, the prefect of the fire cult. And in the last session, he was the prefect of the fire cult was rescued by the previous party, and now he is trying to bring him into the fold and prove that the RMS changed his ways and will help us. So he finds himself here trying to persuade the rest of the party that we should absolutely trust RM and do what he says.
All right, and next we have Maureen.
Hi, you can't see me because I'm having internet stability issues, but I'm here. I'm Maureen. I am playing the character Pinocchio, otherwise known as Noki. Noki has come to this point in his life because he wanted, sadly, to get away from noble causes and skullduggery, and here he is in the middle of noble causes and skullduggery. And so took a vacation from it for a little while by going around and collecting the stories of people who were also sort of caught in the periphery of all of this. So I've got about 4 books worth of stories and tales, and I keep collecting them as I go, and I'm skeptical, highly skeptical at this point. Um, I'm a half elf, a bard, and really not much use in battle.
All right, and let's go next to Sarah.
I'm Sarah, and I am playing Rhea Thornbridge, who is a human fighter, Eldridge Knight. came to look for some adventure, try to do some good in the world, is trying to find her place. And yeah, trying to figure out what she can do to better the world around her.
Awesome. So those are our characters here tonight. We were picking up the group has gathered here in the air temple. Also present is Kelno, older gentleman who wears vestments of the air cult. And also present is Ulgrist, his for hire troll, who sort of his bodyguard now at this point. So I guess technically Isaac's character, the hobgoblin, I'm blanking on the name, but I think she would be present also. Lix, that's right. Yeah. So the three of them are there. They're happy to provide this space for you to plan and obviously set out from. And so I imagine that there is a conversation happening between the five of you about where to go next.
So this idea going up and fighting the bugbear, that's fine. But there's this hallway, and so far, I've heard nothing that would stop the bugbears from just javelin as we're walking down the hallway. And I'm allergic to javelins, as many people are.
I am too.
It's very common, serious allergy, and no one is addressing it. But I was thinking, before we, face javelin allergy, perhaps we could look for a way around. Kelno, there's got to be another, somewhere where there's fewer bugbear looking at us. That could get us to maybe that stairway that goes down, or another stairway that goes down. That could get us near that bit. No?
You speak of the grand staircase that they seem to be watching over?
I'm okay with a lesser staircase, actually. I'm not particularly grand myself.
Well, and he would gesture towards this door over here, and he says, if it's down that you want to go. And he goes over to the wall here and moves aside a brick, and there's like a switch there, and he hits that, and a doorway opens up. Says, this stairway here will lead you down to the third floor.
Did any of you know that there was a stairway there?
It's the first time I'm here.
Nope.
Kelno,
Nope.
maybe a little more forthcoming with things like stair.
He shared this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I gave you guys a bunch of summary in the chat.
Sorry.
He would
I missed that one.
He would tell you out just beyond these stairs, there's a similar such secret stairway. And there's a third that he knows of that's closer down to the south western side of the map. Like if you were to go through where the owl bear was and just keep going down that tunnel, there is a plain. It's not a secret staircase. There's a door. You'd go through the door and there's a stairway there. So these are three easy access points that he is aware of that could take you down to the third floor. The grand staircase that you speak of, he says that at the bottom of those stairs, that's the gate that's where Zugat Moy is held. His belief. It's one of the big gates like you've seen at other places. Actually, one right here, in the temple, held together by that silver chain. And you can imagine on the other side of these double doors, so this stairway would lead up to the first floor. On the other side of these doors would be those runes that were placed upon it 50 years ago at the conclusion of the Battle of Emerald Meadows.
So Galileo, with the fungus, that would be down and then a bit south, yeah? do we have a rough direction as to where the alchemy laboratory might be?
It's on the 3rd floor.
Aye. Down one, which we've got a way down, and then south. And if we can get the doctor down there, and then no more fungus. We don't have
That
to wear the
would be-
slippers in the shower anymore.
That would be good.
Kelno says that wasn't an area of the temple that he spent a lot of time in, and it's been 50 years since he's been here, but his recollection or his memory is that it was somewhere on the northern side of the 3rd floor.
So down.
Chris,
Go ahead.
sorry, Humboldt. I just wanted to say hi to Chris.
Hey, Doki, was it right? How you doing?
It's
Hey, I heard
great,
about
great. I'm still alive.
you're still. I heard about that crystal room, huh?
Oh yeah. It kind of terrified me for a little bit, but it worked out in the end. I think.
Yeah, I would have been real afraid. You probably held it together better than Ulgrist would have.
Don't know about that, but
You had to fight a big Umber Hulk. I heard about those things. They make it go all kind of loopy, huh?
Yeah, very much proved that point really well in our battle. As far as I couldn't see because I had to keep my eyes closed through most of it, and when I had my eyes open, I really wasn't all that effective. Anyway, on question, and I know that you are working with Kelno. Hi, Kelno.
Yeah, he pays the bills. I work for him. It's good arrangement, but the cult of Hamlet has any work that they need doing. Talk to me, show me a big bag of jams or money, and we could work something out.
Try my very best to get you that opportunity. And in that spirit, I was wondering, have you heard anything about Lareth lately and where he might be?
I'm not so sure. Never come talk to me. At least he hasn't yet. But I don't know. What do you think? What if he comes to me with a better offer? You think I should take it? I don't know.
I don't know either. He's not really good at keeping any of his. I can tell.
Well,
I mean, it's tempting, but
I'll tell you what, I'm pretty discerning about who I work with, but there's some other trolls that I know in the area probably wouldn't be so discerning. They'd probably take real low ball offers. They're not pros like Ulgrist.
there are very few trolls like wolves.
That's right. Tell your friends. If you ever need a troll, Ulgrist should be your number one call.
You've got it. I will always tell my friends that, and I'm telling them right now, right, friends?
You could tell your enemies too, That's fine.
Zero to defeating my own ends. But it sounds like I mean, is the 3rd floor a reasonable bet?
Yeah, I haven't heard much about Lareth up here. I'm sure I would have. I do some scouting and whatnot for the Kelno. And thank you, Corey, for the DM reroll. I appreciate that. On vacation, takes the time to stop by and give me a reroll. Love it.
A couple higher, our DDT friend gave us the everyone reroll.
Oh, you got it. Yes. Okay. So you guys all have 5 rerolls in the pot as well. So awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take that piece of information and add it to everything else that we know. And I'm going to recommend taking the door and heading to the 3rd floor. What do you think, guys?
Aye. And if we come round on a way up or a way to stop them bugbears. At least a way to make sure that they have no way to go down without hitting a gate. That'll make it easier to ambush them.
Well, they might not see this secret door. It might be hidden from them. So
We should shut it.
Yeah, we'll be good then.
Do we have a way to shut it?
I mean, it's inside the air temple, so as long as Kelno and Ulgrist are here, it should be guarded.
And there's a switch.
He can certainly close it behind you as you go through.
The secret password is Kelno, open the damn door.
The secret password is we're gonna hit the door like boom, 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 and that's us. Please open.
He says he's a little amused, but he's like, sure, yeah, it works. And he's not going anywhere. So he's basically guarding this area, so he'll be here when you come back up this way.
Human can't see in the dark. We'll have lantern. Is everyone else good with light or being able to see in the dark?
I can see in the dark. Start.
Humboldt, we're good. I'm gonna put up the fire sword is gonna give us a 40 feet visibility range.
All right.
I'm not sure if I can see in the dark or not.
I don't think Furbolgs can.
No, I don't think so. So I need light too.
Do you have a tail?
I also need a light, so I will be, yeah.
Can't remember if Furbolgs have a tail or not. Do they?
I don't think so.
Okay. Darn it.
Only in formal wear.
Okay.
So plan is this door?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So 1 second. Group all your tokens up. And let's see how long it takes this next map to load. I did the preload thing that Winston had suggested, so we'll see if that matters at all.
Now we're going to want to take our time on these stairs, just in case they're slippery.
Okay.
Yes.
Could be.
Have you noticed in this whole temple, not a single handrail?
Hard to put handrails on marble steps.
Drill the hole. But slick marble steps is exactly when you need them.
Yeah, well, the price you pay for having beautiful surroundings is sometimes steep. I've lost my hearing.
99%.
Is there some indication that it's loading?
It has reached 99% and is hesitating.
Okay.
100. There we go. Woo!
100, yes.
Yay! There it goes.
The first time someone touches the 3rd level. Yay!
Yeah, actually, this is big moment. We're finally revealing the 3rd level of Temple Comp.
Who's the troll?
I see some green eyes looking back at me.
Yes.
So, as you are making your way, let's say, who do we have there in the lead? We could probably have Humboldt and Thorwald, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are your passive perceptions?
Not very good.
That's an excellent question. I'm also going to say poor.
Passive perception should be a 10.
9.
Okay.
No, sorry, 11.
All right. So as you come down the staircase around the bend there, the staircase that's leading east, that you turn around on the landing and you start heading down, you can see that it opens up into a chamber that the polished stone of its floor You can see with the light of your lanterns. There's a little bit of maybe like detritus or like moss or some kind of plant material that's kind of growing on some of the rock and stone there. And each footprint on the stairs sort of echoes into that room a bit. And as you're turning the corner there, pretty soon there is a troll who's sticking his face up, looking at the lot of you, and kind of sniffing. You have probably about a moment here. He's not running up the staircase to attack you or anything, but he's looking at you. His body language sort of suggests he's a bit guarded here. What would you like to do?
I don't speak troll, so
Thorwald will tell them, surrender now.
Well, no, say hi.
Oh,
Thorwald, go ahead and make a intimidation check.
You might know criminal.
Ooh, nice.
Refocus the map for the folks so you're actually looking at what's happening. Okay, 22. Okay. The troll, you see he's kind of like he's like wavering a bit. He kind of steps back a couple of feet.
Before you go, do you happen to be one of the mercenary types like Olgrist where we could hire you?
Money. Gems.
Money. Gems? Good. Yes, I. Are you familiar with Olgrist? I think I'm overcomplicating the phrasing. Gems? Yes.
Gems.
I. How many of you?
He's like looking at his hand.
How many trolls could we hire here?
He like moves. You hear him like kind of like knocking on a door. Rah, 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 and he starts like speaking this other language. Rah, rah, rah. And pretty soon there's like a second troll here. And then there's two others that make their way out. And they're all looking up at you. Gems?
Aye. Gems? Contract? Agreement? Paperwork?
Gems. Money.
Gems. Aye. Gems.
How
Moment?
about we bring them to Kelno so we can sign the contract?
Paper.
They're all like looking at each other like, huh?
Gems, and he digs in his pocket and he holds out one of the gems that he got from Elzer chucking the things in. Gems, count upstairs. You come upstairs for gems. Aye?
Make a persuasion check.
Anybody else would be better.
Probably not.
Oh!
They take a moment to confer with one another, and then they all nod in agreement. Upstairs, gems. Yeah.
Upstairs gems. One gem now for coming upstairs, and he'll hand over like boop, and it's I guess these were like 50 GP gems, so it's a 50 GP gem. Come along up the stairs. Here we go. Heading up the stairs now.
The one troll that grabs that precious jewel that you sent down, he goes and like stashes it in his chamber, but then pretty soon, single file, they all start kind of lumbering up the staircase here. And I don't know that I need to switch maps right now, but
No,
you all head back up into the air cult chamber.
I'm furiously writing a contract that basically says that we are obligated to give each of them an additional, each one a gem, because we only had the one that we gave them. and I'm letting you guys know I'm signing this on our behalf, and I guess I don't have any gems.
Don't worry, Noki.
You
And
sure?
Thor is looking at Noki with a very wolfish, feral grin. Don't worry.
Okay. I'm gonna trust
Um,
that wolfish feral grin, and there.
oh, huh. Calendar, open the damn door.
Door opens about a moment later, and he's sort of bewildered as you are bringing these trolls up and into the air. And he's like, "You've been gone but 30 seconds, and it seems you've made some new
Yeah,
friends."
we
um,
found 4 potential recruits for your personal bodyguard, Kelno, in case you're interested. If you're not, then, we can simply just send this fine gentleman on their way in a week.
Well, I am sure you can find a much better use for them than protecting me.
um, though, perhaps, Aldrist, if you wouldn't mind, assisting in the communication, as we seem to be talking on two different levels here.
Yeah, sure. Hey guys, and he starts like they start talking in troll a bit, and he says, "Okay, they want to know numbers."
I'm thinking, we gave him one gem, about 50 gold worth, as a deposit. Um, maybe we give them each the same for them to, stand down and stand guard for us for the moment. And then, as other business opportunities present themselves, we could hire them. I personally feel that 200 gold would not be a bad investment to have such fine fellas at our beck and call.
Ah, yeah, a smart businessman. I see. I'll see if I can sell them on this. Starts talking to them, and he's okay. Turns out they're not willing to go as low as I thought that they'd be willing to go. They want 100 gold each.
Moment.
Maybe
And
Ulgrist's presence here has sort of inflated wages a bit.
that does happen. Though I haven't heard their names as much. Thorwald, have you heard any of these fine fellas' names before? We all know Olgurst, of course.
Yeah, Olgrist is a very, very widely renowned hero of the troll race. But these 4 fellows here, Olgrist, I mean, do you vouch for them? I mean, are they
No,
really worthy of their money? No, you don't, right?
I don't vouch for them. I don't know them.
So maybe, um, Galileo, what would you think? Maybe we do 100 gold up front and 100 gold when they've shown that they can conduct themselves well.
That seems fair. And if I were you, for you, I would accept. We are a very powerful group, as you can see. You don't mess with us.
Money? No mess with you?
I don't think we should give them the whole amount without knowing what they can give us. You know, what I mean, we haven't seen anything that they're going to do for us. They could just, take it and run.
I wouldn't suggest that these fine fellas were cowards, but it has been known to happen. So I think the brave thing for them to do would be to accept the half up front, and since we're going to be paying them so much, perhaps the half in 5 days on their honoring their deal.
Okay, I'll tell them. And he relays that message, and yeah, they'll agree to that. I would have you do the accounting. They're not going to mess with you, so I'd have you do the accounting now because not a static group and everything. So,
what number did we just agree to, by the way?
in total, I think you agreed to the 400, right?
400.
50 now and 50 later.
Got it. I can cover 200 of that. Have you guys all got 200 between you?
I will cover 50 gold pieces now, and I think have
I could
another 50
I could
later.
cover 50 now.
Okay, so Gnocchi and Ria, that leaves 50 each for you then. No wait, 50 now, 50 later. That's 100. That's enough. Never mind. Sorry, math in my head versus math on my fingers is very different answers. So Humboldt will have paid out 50 for the deposit, 200 from here, and then 200 from then 100 each from those two gets us to our 450 total.
All right. So, you do that, and then they seem satisfied. They go back. You wanted them to guard somewhere. You wanted to put them somewhere.
Just basically hang out where they are and be more on our side than somebody else's side.
Okay. So they file back down, and you're free to pass through this chamber.
Ria.
Yes.
Should a conversation of that sort come up again, would you mind piping up a little quicker? I have no idea what I just did. I know you had.
Yeah, I had technology issues. I was not in there at all. My Foundry still is not loaded. I'm trying to get it up.
No, it's almost just like, I would like someone else to do that next time.
I'll get you next time, buddy. I got you.
Maybe not Thorwald. He gets a little bitey when it comes to negotiations. Gnocchi, you too. If you want, just jump right in there.
Okay, how much did I have to give you?
You will deduct 100. 100 total. Yep.
Okay, we'll do.
And what am I deducting 100 or
yes,
or just
you also 100?
Oh, I said 50, but
I thought you said 50 now, 50 later.
Yeah, but that's okay. I'll give you everything now, but just take the accounting. I'm giving you all the 100 that I have.
Got it.
Okay.
All right.
I'll give something. I don't know how much gold I have until I get my technology working, but yes, Ria would give what she could.
No worries. Well, get this sorted.
I gave 100. I've got 19 left.
Yeah, I've got much less than that. But anyway, 100 for me. Yeah.
Don't worry. We'll find plenty of treasure just beyond this door, I'm sure.
All right.
So, ready for the door?
So you all move up and go to check out this next door. Just opening up the door. Is somebody listening? Okay, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Perception coming.
Okay. There isn't anything distinct that you hear from the other side of the door. I don't know. The troll behind you is sort of gnawing on a bone, and you just don't pick up anything distinct on the other side.
Just open.
And open it up, and you see a landing and a staircase that leads just a short distance down. About a 10-foot descent.
But it's still the same level, right? We're not going further down.
Yeah, like you're not moving to the level 4 of the dungeon, if that's what you mean.
Okay. Then
so start to move ahead a bit as you're starting to climb down the staircase there. And I'm just going to kind of move your tokens through this as if you were exploring. Probably right about here, you'll see into the chamber. And
Uh-oh.
the ceiling of this large 50-foot square chamber is at least 40 feet high. You can see that there is a great fire pit, which is not currently burning in the center of the room. And there's a sort of kind of a tripod that's erected over it with chains and a big boiling pot, big cauldron over said fire pit. You see several eye bolts that are set in the walls. Could be places where manacles or whatever could be chained up prisoners or something like that. You see there are 4 iron-bound doors, 2 on the north side and 2 on the east side, all closed. And there's an Etten in here. He's sort of like kind of poking at the fire pit with a club. And as you all got your lanterns and everything up, he's alerted to your presence and he stands up. And he kind of like the trolls, I guess. He's not running at you to attack you, but he's looking off in your direction. He's got his club in hand. He's cautiously holding back.
Hey, Nyaki,
Yes.
I gotta ask, what do you think he's eating?
Oh, you are so funny. Not griddle cakes.
Which one?
Oh, that's true. I guess they could be eating 2 things at once. That's a whole new type of brunch.
Anybody speak giant?
I think I do.
Okay. You hear him kind of call out. He's speaking in giant, and he says, You shouldn't be here. Go back. No visitors.
We're just passing through.
Passing through to where?
We won't disturb you.
So it's too late for that. I wish to be alone. Go back.
You're never alone. What are you talking about?
Leave this? The other one says, yeah, you're not, we want to be alone.
Should we close our eyes and just walk through very quickly so we don't disturb whatever strangeness is happening here?
I think it's time for some punishment. We gotta make ourselves known here as, strong folk.
Oh, maybe we don't need to make ourselves known, Thorwald, if we're trying to...
We're making a statement, Noki, that, you can't mess with us. You can't mess with the Hamlet cult.
That is one way we could approach this, yes. I think that is, it has its merits. It's especially has its merits when people are running at us with things, but they're not running at us with anything right now.
Do you know what those trolls up the stairs were saying about you?
What do they say?
Not very nice things.
Oh, really? Like what? Yeah, like what?
Thorwald doesn't understand giant, but given that he came closer, he will be ready for anything at this point.
Yeah, he's just sort of like he's like poking Galileo with the club.
Sorry, I don't want to insult you, and I would be if I repeated what they said. I just wouldn't do that to you.
Make a deception check. We're gonna cover all the social skill checks here. 5.
Galileo, use a reroll.
That's true. You got
Okay.
rerolls.
All right, I'll do a reroll. I'm better at persuasion.
We're doing real well with social so far. Yeah.
Yeah, not bad.
Oh, that's
Okay.
better.
So you kind of fumbled on like the start, and he's sort of like intimidating you a bit, but you collect yourself and you kind of tap into, I don't know what folk stories maybe you know of, like rivalries between Ettins and trolls and things that would be offensive to him, and you really find like the hurt point, and you like press him on this, and he's like, oh, that really I'll show them. And he just like leaves and he goes down this way. He's just like muttering to himself like,
And what happened?
Galileo, I don't know what you did, but congratulations. Can you explain?
I told him that the trolls were saying some bad things about him, so he was kind of offended, and I think he's going to try and get even with the trolls.
Yeah, but the trolls are this way.
I don't know. Maybe he's got a shortcut. I don't know. But
should we not be here when he comes back?
Absolutely.
I don't think we should.
Hey.
So let's go check those doors. Right? I mean, there's no other way we can go but through here.
Seems sensible.
all right. So
At least they'll be earning their money.
So you have 4 doors that you could potentially check out.
Yeah, I would start with the first one next to us.
Hey.
If you guys agree.
Oh yeah, and start with the near door.
All right. Do we maybe want to should we just take a break, see if we can get Sarah back on?
Yeah.
I'm guessing just based on what I'm seeing for my upload, I bet she's trying to get into Foundry. So let's take a quick break and see if we can get Sarah back on before we continue forward. Thanks everyone for sticking out with us here. We'll be right back. Right, we are back. Thanks for hanging out here. So our party has just descended down to the 3rd level of the temple, and they encountered a group of trolls that seemed amenable to bribes or payment or whatever you want to call it, but they've been paid off, and they were able to get past the area where they were calling home. They moved into the next area where they found a lone Ettin, and Galileo was able to stir up a little bit of maybe already existing animosity between the two groups. And the Ettin, disgruntled with feeling slighted by the trolls, Galileo told them they were talking smack and throwing shade over on the Ettin, and so rather than, he didn't seem to like go directly after the trolls, but he seemed like he was going to do something, and he just sort of grumbled and went the south passage of this room where you encountered him. So doing something, but in doing so, he's not in your hair right now and leaves this room open to exploration. There are 4 doors that you could go through. I think the group has decided that maybe just to check out the very first door. And so certainly move ahead and open up this door, and it leads to a hall where stairs seem to wind up and then over to the west in an upward fashion, probably bringing you a good 10 feet up, just like the stairway that you just descended down from the west.
It's a good direction. We're supposed to somehow go north, so that would make sense.
I am.
So you wanna go this way?
Yeah, why
Might as
not?
well. Good as any.
Right, so I'm just going to group move you all. And so you'll come down the corridor and up to where it will branch out in 3 directions. One to the northwest, one directly north, where, as you're moving ahead here, you're going to be able to spot that there is a bronzewood door. And then another branch off to the northeast. It seems to... if you poke your head down just a touch, you'll see that it goes to the northeast a bit and then directly east off of there.
I would think a laboratory would be behind a door. So
So you think it's straight ahead?
I'm thinking we start with door, and if not behind door, then hallways.
I kind of like going left first. So at least one side we're not. I mean, I don't know how big this complex is, but I would imagine let's go on the external side so that the enemies can only come from right or. I mean, I don't know. What
I have heard that advice. You always want to daw to the left. Is
Do
everyone
we know
else
what
okay?
corner? Like, what corner are we in the temple in general?
We should be westish.
Center westish, but we're going north now a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Then yeah, going
all
left
3
would make sense.
directions generally go a little bit north anyway, so
Yeah,
we're probably
I would
good.
go left.
Hey, left it is, and we'll just go ahead and ease our way down there. Well, you know, the old tapa as we walk.
Trying not to bring too many things along with you from neighboring rooms.
Reassuring.
There you go. So you basically get down this far, and you could see that there's sort of a diagonal hallway, like the natural way of the hallway seems to continue northwest. But then there's a short little passageway here to the north that seems to then duck directly east right away.
I kind of just want to poke my head around and see how far it go.
Okay.
I'll take off his bandana and kind of wave it, then put his bandana back on, and then lean his head up.
Nothing seems to react to that.
And he just wants to peer to see how far that bend around to the right.
Sure.
goes.
You can move your token kind of up and around so you can get a glance in there. Looking into it appears to be a storeroom. There's a few remaining containers and crates and such that seem to indicate this was a place where mundane items were stored. It now contains a number of gnawed bones, torn garments, and broken weapons. The latter items seem to have been tossed into a pile. Someone or something has purposely used this place as a grisly repository for unwanted remains of meals.
It's not
That
encouraging.
don't sound like a lab, so I think we'll pass on that area.
Is there any specific smell, Alex, that would give away the nature of the predator, so to speak?
I don't know that there'd be like an overwhelming odor of decay or anything here. Like the bones that have been heaped up here look pretty cleaned up.
Does anyone see any teeth marks? These seem all fairly intact, like they were sort of gnawed off rather than bit through, I think. Is there any sign that big creature, small creature?
Why don't you give me either, say, a nature check?
Nature check.
I'm a druid. I might be able to discern what animal it is, perhaps.
Oh, sure. This one looks like an interesting one. On that one, and that one. I think that's two different people. So he'll hand it over to you to do a nature check. Absolutely. Please, here, have bones. Is it good Galileo does the nature check?
Yeah, go for it.
There we go. Okay, got it.
And what did you get? 17? You don't really find any teeth marks on the bones.
That's really weird.
And so
most animals would leave some teeth marks.
Are there like break marks, like they've been broken apart?
no, for the most part, they're pretty intact. There's sort of a variety of creatures. There's probably, you might find some ogre bones among them. So largish creatures, or something that could take one down.
Well, do we want to spend a minute or two digging through just to see if there's anything useful in the pile, or carry on?
I don't
I
want
will carry on. I don't want to. Whoever is doing this, I don't want to fortuitously be acquainted with such creature.
Let's see. Ria, what is
But
your...
up to you, Humble. If you really want to go through, I'll stand watch.
Ria, what is your passive perception?
Passive perception is 12.
Okay. So as you're all kind of examining the bones and examining the room, there is something that descends down off of the ceiling onto you. It's like this.
Is it a big jelly?
No, it's not it's not a jelly. What it is
Okay.
it almost appears as if it was like a big stretched out piece of like cloth or leather that just sort of like drops onto you, and what it's trying to do is it almost like a cloak that's like enveloping you and trying to grab hold of you and hold you under it. Make it visible as it's attacking. So it's going to get a little surprise maneuver here.
Can I use my reaction at all?
I'm going to say no, because unless you have a passive perception of 16 or higher, you're not seeing this as it's happening. This is a surprise thing.
Okay. I don't think I do.
Okay. So what it is Ria needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
Nice.
So as it drops down, you manage to kind of sidestep. I'll just, we'll see, sidestep out of the way and avoid it like grabbing hold of you. So now it's like on the ground and it's sort of moving in like kind of almost, from the middle of this tarp-like thing, almost erecting itself up to maybe grab hold and grab another one of you. And so this is where we can roll initiative.
And my foundry I can see, but I can't really move very well, so I might have to have you move my token.
Sure, no problem. All right, so we'll begin combat with Thorwald. You are up first.
So I see this, I have to assume is a creature attacking Rhea, right?
Yep.
So Thorwald will step forward. Actually, let me see. Do I even have space? I'm trying to understand the spacing. So the creature is large, right?
Yeah, so it is basically like, we'll say it's probably about 10 feet wide, but it covers a great deal of space, and so it's like moving itself up. It's not flying, but just imagine like a big blanket that was like animating itself. It's kind of like that. Like it's moving around. It's a strange combatant to deal with because of how kind of alien it moves.
Yeah. But so let me put it this way. If I were to squeeze through Noki space and position myself to here, would I be able to hit it?
Yes. Yeah, the token isn't great on this. It's a 10-foot. It's a large creature, so it takes up 4 squares.
Okay, just making sure because I see only a sliver. That's why I'm asking.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm moving there, and bonus action, rage, and I will attack it with my flaming longsword. So first thing first, rage. Usability. And then try to attack it with flaming sword.
Nice.
23 will hit.
Then he will take 13 points of damage, and of those, part is fire damage if it makes a difference.
Okay. Sounds good. So total of 13.
Yes.
All right. Trapper is up next. And it'll go for Thorwald. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
Yep.
All right. So it kind of like
Coming through.
Yeah, I see it. It kind of bunches itself up and trying to like lunges at you like an arm.
Okay.
And tries to like grab at you, but you manage to step out of the way. Galileo, why don't you also give me a dexterity saving throw?
Oh no.
This one is on the ceiling and is reaching down to try to grab at Galileo. All right, but you managed to dodge out of the way. So you got the one. This one's down on the ground. This one on the ceiling, you probably would have to have like reach, like with a pole arm or whatever, to hit it with melee. So that's gonna bring us. I gotta put him on here. Next up is Galileo.
Would a quarterstaff reach him?
I don't think so. No.
I'm going to.
Well, you know what? We'll say he's crawled down after he attacked you. Like he crawled down like onto the piece of the wall right next to you, so you could hit it with me.
All right, then I'm gonna do a bonus action shillelagh and attack with my quarterstaff.
That'll hit.
Oh, jeez.
5 points. Anything else, Galileo?
I just no, that would be it then for now.
All right, it brings us to Humboldt.
So Humboldt will rage, and he will swing his glaive zealously at the one on to the south. And we'll do that recklessly as well. Womp. And what? That is not the right damage. 1 second. That's the right damage. 21 points of damage. Some portion of which was radiant if necessary.
All right, glaive catches the edge of this thing and sort of like tears at it. You can feel it like kind of resisting, and you see it kind of rip into its body.
Hey, and Alrum was making fun of me earlier about how hard it is to put a cloak on. Look at these things.
That'll bring us to Rhea.
All right. I'm going to back up 15 feet, and then I am going to shoot with my longbow.
Sounds good.
15 hit.
15 hits.
Okay, 5 damage.
All right. See an arrow
my turn.
sail through it, pierce through the body of the trapper. And that'll bring us to Noki.
Okay, so I'm going to use a bonus action to give Bardic Inspiration to Thorwald. And then I am also going to back up, not quite as much as Rhea, but just enough so that I can, it's like 10 feet. And I'm going to go ahead and shoot at this with this great short bow that I was able to borrow from one of my really good friends. So that's what I'm going to do. Oh, that missed.
That one will miss.
Reroll, reroll, reroll.
Okay, then I will reroll.
Roll.
I will. Come on, reroll.
12 doesn't quite get there.
Well, darn it. That's pretty much all I can do at the moment, except for stick my tongue out.
Sounds good. That'll bring us next back to the top of the order, Thorwald.
Back again, swinging the sword at the trapper to the south that I already attacked.
Thirteen will hit.
I am. Oh, thank you. Saved me. I was gonna say something. Just 20 points of damage.
20 points. Again, it's looking pretty tattered and beat up, this creature, but is still alive. And it becomes its turn. It's going to try to grab hold of you again, Thorwald. A dexterity saving throw.
I might need bardic inspiration here. Let's see what happens. Saving throw coming. Normal. Yeah, I'm gonna add the D6 here. Okay, that's gonna be a. I'm probably gonna use a reroll if you guys don't mind.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Go for it.
All right.
Okay. Rerolling my 9. Rerolling my 9.
Okay. So, you managed to make the saving throw with that, the 22. The other trapper is just gonna go for Galileo again. Dexterity saving throw. Not many furbolgs come across. You know, this is like a delicacy walking into into the dungeon. Gotta have a taste. But an 18 is going to save. Galileo, it is your turn.
All right. Galileo is still going to attempt to hit it with his quarterstaff here again.
15 will hit. All right. All right, that will bring us to Humboldt.
Humboldt swings wildly. Reckless abandon. Glaive. Hit a thing. 23.
23 hits.
Does 14 points of damage.
All
Is it
right.
still there?
Still there.
Back into the staff. With advantage. 22.
Hits.
8 points of damage.
Still there.
Do these things stop moving eventually? Keep looking up, by the way. And every once in a while he glances up like, that's not a thing.
Rhea, you're up next.
Alrighty, gonna do the same thing and shoot at it with my bow. 13 miss.
13 actually hits.
Oh, okay, 6 damage.
And
Nice.
as your arrow like snags a bit of this creature and it goes sailing and like the arrow like pins it to the wall back here and it stops moving.
Oh, is that how you do it?
There you go. They do stop moving eventually.
And that will bring us to Noki.
Okay, well, I was extremely unsuccessful with the short bow. And oh gosh, I have no evidence at all that they can hear a darn thing. So I guess I'm just going to have to try one more time. And so I'm going to go ahead and attack with the short bow, the one remaining moving thing. Oh, nice.
Oh, critical hit. So do you want to just roll double damage or do you want the special crit roll?
Ooh.
The mystery.
I would prefer to roll double damage.
Yes, go for it.
Okay. So just roll it twice at normal?
Yeah, well, yeah, basically you only apply the modifier once, but the dice get doubled.
When you hit the damage button, it should give you
Yeah.
the prompt for critical.
2d6.
So push critical.
Yep.
Okay, got it. 11 points of damage.
11
Nice.
points of damage.
Right.
Very nice.
And I'm staying right where I'm at.
All right. Next up is back to the top, Thorwald.
Thorwald will switch target and go for the second trapper.
All right.
19, I imagine, will hit. And it will take 17 points of damage.
All right. That brings us to, it becomes the Trapper's turn. Doesn't have a lot of tricks. It's going to try to grab hold of Galileo once again. Dexterity saving throw.
Galileo's getting tired of dancing.
Don't get tired yet.
Don't say that. Look.
Should I re-roll?
I wouldn't want to experiment what they do to you once they grab you.
Oh.
All right. He's got you grappled and restrained.
No.
And you can feel as you are kind of like being almost lifted up off of your feet. This thing, it's like hanging out the wall. It's got you. You can just feel it, like the pressure is starting to break down on your body, and you can almost feel like something acidic kind of starting to eat away at your skin as it starts to try to digest you.
I think he likes furball. Hurry up.
He likes it. So it becomes your turn right away. So you're going to end up taking 18 bludgeoning damage, but that's not all.
Oh.
Okay, there it is.
Feeling.
And 4 acid damage for a total of 22 points of damage.
Doesn't get a saving throw.
Nope, his saving throw was
Oh,
he
already got it.
he essentially already did it on his turn when he got.
Yeah.
So
Ow.
that happens at the
That
beginning.
wasn't-
Yeah, so you want to probably get out of here if you can. If you want to try to escape, it's a DC 14, either athletics or acrobatics.
I'm gonna go with acrobatics.
Okay.
Oh, jeez. Kill it!
You do have one more reroll if you want to use it.
Yeah.
Acrobatics again.
No.
Oh, he's just struggling, and it's just the more you struggle, the more it holds on to you. That brings us to Humboldt's turn.
I should still hit it. Yeah. Even with him in, I should hit it. I'll hit it, and then try and swing at a spot that doesn't look like.
It's big enough you can mark that. Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna do it recklessly, so we're not gonna try and not hit him too hard. Da-dum. That's a hit. I need damage. 20 points of damage there. And they'll come around with the back end of the staff. 17 for another 10. So 30 points of damage total. Slice buck. Sorry.
Was that 20? Was that truly a damage roll?
Oh, what happened?
An attack roll.
Wait. What did I do? Oh, yeah, sorry. I hit the wrong button. Damage. Normal. Sorry, 19, not 20.
Yeah, like the D20 roll is still like in the realistic ballpark.
Yeah.
There. I was just,
Yeah. Sorry. So 29 points of damage to it.
29 total. Okay.
do. I just hit the wrong button. Sorry.
That will bring us to... Oh, first, we got to do is the acknowledgements here that we got some rerolls coming in. Looks like Isaac got everyone a reroll. Percy redeemed by a player reroll. So you got refilled up to 6 rerolls in the pot here. Thanks, chat, for the rerolls. Rhea, it's your turn next.
Alrighty. So I have line of sight, you would say, around
Yeah.
that corner.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then I will shoot at it.
Right, that'll hit. 4 points of damage. Pierces through it, and it is basically on the wall, so it looks like the other, except it's still moving, and it still seems to be holding on to poor Galileo. We will move next to Noki.
We will move up to a point where I can use my short sword. And what I want to do is I want to slice it. So I'm going to try.
All right.
Good
14
job,
will hit.
Noki.
Max damage.
7 points of damage.
It is still up.
Don't let him hit me again.
Bring us to Thorwald.
We'll do our... I'm gonna reroll that net one. Definitely gonna roll that. We cannot let that one stand. But unfortunately, a 10 is a miss.
It is. And
Sorry.
the trapper is gonna do nothing, essentially, on its turn. And then it will become Galileo's go. At the beginning of his turn, he'll take this damage. That'll be 20 points of bludgeoning and 3 points of acid damage.
I am no longer conscious. I'm dead.
To see the little legs getting pulled up into the form of the trapper. Humboldt, it is your turn.
He's not moving.
Could we grab?
I'm gonna hit it again. So we'll swing. 24 to hit.
Yep.
Nope.
Dang it.
I'm just hitting the wrong button here. Hang on. That's the damage button. 21 points of damage.
So you managed to swing with the glaive and cut him out. The trapper releases and goes prone and stops moving, and you just see Galileo's body. His clothes are probably all burned up from the acid that's eaten through some of it, and he's out cold.
I don't know how to fix that. So, with the bonus action / whatever he's got left, he'll start tapping around on the ceiling just to make sure there's no more of them in the,
lurking
near vicinity.
Yeah, that sounds good. So then it becomes Rhea's turn. There are no more trappers to deal with, but Galileo is down on the ground and in need of some medical help.
Do we have anyone here that can provide said medical help?
I can. If we're out of initiative order.
Sure. We don't have to play it by initiative, but I want to give Rhea the first chance to do something if you so wish.
Well, I don't really have any like spells or anything for that, but can I do a medicine check to try and stabilize?
Sure. Absolutely. And maybe the. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying that was a terrible roll.
Yeah, maybe it's just like this is a like acid wounds and stuff. It's like a unusual wound to have to deal with. But Noki, you have something?
Yes, I'm going to use Healing Word, and
Okay.
I'm going to use it. Oh, it looks really bad. I'm going to go ahead and use it at 2nd level. Just a risk. Go. Be well.
Good roll.
All right, 9 points back to Galileo.
Hey, what happened? I burn all over.
Hi.
Yeah,
You do.
it was not fun.
Eh, hmm. Well, on the
But look at
bright
the
side,
bright side.
I. Go ahead, Thorwald. Did you beat me to it? No.
No, I was gonna say we can make a wonderful cloak of this whatever this horrible creature is,
I.
and just to make you feel better, Galileo, you can have this wonderful kind of grand cloak.
I. And I
Well,
hear the
well,
acid wash look is in this year, so got
well,
that going.
I do have the mending cantrip, so I'm gonna use that to try and mend some of these burns in my clothing and stuff.
Sure, absolutely. You do so, and little fabrics kind of stitch themselves back together, or leathers repair themselves, or whatever it is that you have that was damaged goes back like it's brand new.
Though one thing, seeing these fellas, I was thinking they were like goblinoids or demons or something that was smart and was stripping the flesh and would take the good stuff out of the pile. These seems like they just eat and drop. So if we have a minute or two, I wouldn't mind digging through the pile. Now,
At this point, yes. I mean, hopefully there are no more creatures, but these were really disgusting. I've
aye.
never seen anything like that.
And we'll give a little tap on the ceiling as we go in there. Like, any more of you gooey fellas?
So you go in here to check out the storeroom. It'll become pretty clear that the things that were held here, these are old holdovers from when the temple was last active 50 years ago. All of the wine has turned to vinegar. All of the food is spoiled and rotten. And unfortunately, remains from those creatures, if they had anything valuable on them, must have gotten digested and left away. So there isn't anything of value that you find here.
Rude.
I'm gonna
Very
cast
rude.
Cure Wounds on myself to try and get some more hit points back.
Okay, sounds good. You can do that.
And I'm going to follow Humboldt's suggestion, which I don't know if he's already followed, and which is I'm going to try and see if we can't sort of like fold these creatures' bodies into some sort of transportable framework and bring them with us.
Yeah, I mean, I think that their anatomy basically works that way. You could fold them up. I would think they'd be quite weighty to carry with you, but it's like an added 25-30 pounds of encumbrance that you'd have on you.
Okay. Which isn't.
Yeah, I think Humboldt and I can have. Yeah, don't worry. Humboldt and I can carry one until we can properly kind of treat the leather. No?
Sounds good. and I'm putting some spices on them, and I reach in and I pull out, and I'm putting a little bit of salt just to keep it from getting too odoriferous while we're working here.
Are you seasoning that? Because it looks a lot like you're seasoning that.
Planning on eating it, but I just don't want it to, smell too badly. I mean, I'm
Okay,
hiding
because
in the backpack.
The carpet
was that
is
cumin? I smell cumin.
Oh, yes, a little bit. I mean, and
And salt. You added
and
salt.
salt,
Okay,
yes.
so you're 3 steps away from deep frying this fellow, is what I'm saying.
Uh,
I think you gotta do something to neutralize the acid in them.
oh, that's easy. And I'm starting to dig through it, and I pull out
Oh,
some baking soda and just sort of like sprinkle it on the
no,
body.
I don't want anybody eating the thing that ate those people.
Just keep it from
Or me.
putting a hole in our bag.
It's like biting the mosquito that bit you. It's a little weird.
Do you want to
Uh,
bite the mosquito that bit you? It's
No,
justice.
it,
Well, vengeance. Both.
Galileo's totally freaked out by them, and he doesn't want to even go near them. So
I don't blame you.
keep it away from me.
um. Well,
We will.
is everybody feeling reasonable to continue on? Galileo, are your bits staying?
I'm feeling a little better now.
Keep
Oh,
their ear.
I see a rug.
That's perfect. She's good.
I see a really decorative one of these laying on the ground.
Wish to continue up here to this next area.
Yeah, though I'm gonna give that rug a hell of a poke.
You certainly do so as you move your way up there. And you can see that this seems like, I don't know, almost like a display room of sorts. There's all sorts of glass cases that line the walls here. Um, and you can see heads of all sorts, a few skulls, withered and bony hands, flayed skins, and banners of many types of nations throughout the world of Greyhawk, from Buryundi to Valuna to Ket to you name it. It's here. Um, there's one case that bears several maces and similar items. Um, and a great deal of holy symbols are in another case. There's a cabinet in the middle of the room that is smashed and broken, and there are a number of bones that litter the floor here, and so it's sort of safe to say maybe those creatures lair here, and there's a bit of a mess that just hasn't been deposited maybe in the other room quite yet.
Huh.
Galileo's
This is
going to be
disgusting.
looking around, especially up, to make sure that there's not any more of them.
Sure, sounds good. Kind of keeping an eye out for those types of threats, like the trapper.
Yeah.
Alex, does this stuff look like is from 50 years ago or more recent? Like, is there like a layer of dust over it? It's like,
Certainly is a layer of dust. Like, this is definitely a holdover from old times.
You guys coming?
yeah.
Um,
Let's inventory the stuff. There might be.
Hmm.
I would like to do an investigation check.
Okay, go ahead and do so.
Okay. Hang on. Up.
what type of room does it look like this was used for? Did you say?
Oh, I
I
don't see
mean,
any.
it almost seems like a trophy room, I would say.
Film?
Oh,
Yeah, a trophy.
So, with a 5, Noki, just kind of, you don't find anything secret in the room. Most of its contents seem to be laid out plainly in the glass cases and such. As you're traveling around, there's one case that maybe strikes your eye. There's a glass case that holds 5 distinct crowns in it.
5 crowns.
treasure.
Well, maybe.
Thorwald would probably go
They
where
gotta be
there
worth
are
something.
symbols.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Oh, sorry. I would say Thor will go towards the holy symbols as they
Okay.
explore other cases or stuff like that.
Okay. You can go ahead and give me a religion check as you go to that case. So you see on display here holy symbols of Pelor, Boltus, Rao, and St. Cuthbert.
So this then is the cults or Zugget's trophy room then. I don't remember anything about there being 5 crowns or 5 kings that died, though. Am I just misremembering something about the Battle of Emerdy?
You could make a history check. Anybody who wishes to.
Orwald, you were there, weren't you? Were there 5 kings running about?
There was. I don't remember. Let me see if I can recollect.
So Thorwald, 13 on the history. Okay. So the righteous host was led by Prince why am I blanking on his name?
Throma, right?
Thrommel. Yep.
Throma,
Prince
right?
Thrommel. And he became a hero after that event. Like, he was celebrated across Ferriondi, and there was sort of friction between Ferriondi and the nation of Veluna, but that event sort of brought them back together a little bit. It mended some hurt that had happened between the two nations. Just, there was a lot of messiness in terms of their independence from the great nation, and so their relationship was a little frayed. But after that event, they became a little bit closer, and there was a marriage that was set to happen between the daughter of the head bishop, essentially, of Baluna and the crown in Ferriondi. Prince Thrommel never made it to that wedding, and he disappeared. And one of these crowns looks like his crown.
Wow. Yeah, guys, we should get all this stuff. This stuff is really important.
I am.
And
No, yes. Just nobody pick it up until we're done talking. This is talking time. Grabbing time happens in a minute. Just talking time first. Go ahead. Sorry, Thorwald. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say let's get this stuff, and if you guys agree, I definitely want to collect those holy symbols. I don't want them to be displayed in a trophy room or some evil temple. It just doesn't sit well with me.
I tend to agree. But just as a thought, those fairly obvious bits of treasure have been sitting there for something like 50 years. And I'm thinking anyone who was a little greedy might have wanted to nick them. And maybe there's a curse or a trap or a big patch of fungus just waiting to jump out at you. And I was wondering, does any of you have any sort of skill at noticing such things?
I can cast detect magic on him.
Oh, um,
That's a good idea.
that seems reasonable.
All right, you're doing like a
And I can
ritual
also-
cast.
It's innate spell casting.
Oh, for furbolg, it's something that furbolgs get.
Yeah.
Okay,
Or at
so
least
okay, so you cast detect magic. Nothing in this room actually detects as such.
Right. Well, that. Sorry. Maybe overcautious.
Or know that it's overcautious to check to make sure that you're not picking up something that's going to immediately drop, a wall of
Technical
fire.
question: Would uh, would a cursed item Humboldt also be magic by inherently?
Did all of the walls just get deleted?
No,
Yeah.
but a big bubble popped out. Oh wait, nope, a lot of bubbles popped out. Yes, many
God.
walls just got deleted.
Foundry. Ah. Okay. Well, try to train your eyes just on the things, I guess, that you can
I'll
see right
zoom
in front of you.
way in.
Yep.
Zoom way
Me
in.
too.
Oh,
I don't know what that big circle is, but
Yeah, that's what I was trying to delete.
I mean, as far as I figure, curses are magic. Magic is magic.
Yeah, I would imagine it would have shown up if it was there. I'm just curious
So we
to
can
find out.
assume nothing is cursed, right?
Oh, you know what? I have a little holy water. Why don't we just wash everything down with holy water? Like you do with your groceries.
Sounds good. Can I also take a closer look at the skulls?
Sure. They are, I would say they'll say all of them are human or elf.
That's not exciting. I mean, I don't really enjoy seeing the remains of kinsmen on either side laid out table or on these as trophies.
I don't know that we can carry them all back to put them to rest. We can do the crowns and the little bits. I suppose. Is it more disrespectful to leave them or to stuff them in a sack?
They've been resting here, and hopefully there is no part of them that's still attached to their bones. I'm hoping that if there's any spiritual remnant, it's long since departed, especially for the elves.
Well, the good news is, we found treasure. So we should be coming out profitable from having made the deal with the trolls. Aside from throwing the carpet aside to make sure there's no cubbies underneath, are we ready to leg it? We
I
got
think so.
another two forks. No.
Yes.
So I'm okay with not bringing everything with us, but if you want to leave this stuff here, I want to give you some sort of a short ceremony, kind of to lay, especially the skulls to rest. Nothing too fancy, but 10 minutes. If you can give me 10 minutes to organize a little ceremony, say a few words.
Sure. Two birds, one stone. we'll put all the skulls in the carpet, roll the carpet up, sort of fold it up a bit. You could put that to light and have a nice little pyre, and we can check underneath the carpet at the same time.
I'm okay with that.
Are we taking the crowns or are we leaving them? What are we doing with those?
Oh no, we're adventurers. We take the crowns.
That's what I thought, but okay.
Crowns and holy symbols, or anything else you guys want.
Anything else that looks like it has a remote value to either us or to trolls, except for the skulls.
Yeah, probably the case that had the ornate mace and some other items. Those all look valuable. So it sounds like let's figure this out right now while we're still in the room. So the 5 crowns. Anyone lay claim to those?
There's 5 of us, 1 each.
5 of you, 1 each. So mark down 1 crown.
We're not claiming those crowns. Those crowns, they belong to royals.
They're not here.
Returning them.
Well, not currently, but you know.
Thorwald, we each have to carry 1 out. What we do with it after that
Carry
is
the key word.
We're going to carry them out, and I'm going to wear mine because it makes me feel special.
We have not yet identified exactly where all these crowns came from anyway. So
we know
can I get the one from Pilstramo?
Sure, here you go. Do we know which one it is?
Thank you.
Yeah, there's one I think that Thorwald maybe recognized from its historical significance to Furry. So that sounds fair. Everyone has 1 crown. There's also a platinum ring that you find amongst the things here with a fine diamond in it.
The only thing I would say about that is that diamond, like a big rock, like might be useful for somebody who is going to be casting, say, like a I need a diamond spell.
Yeah, it could be used for that.
If we don't mind, could we give that one to Dane just in case one of us goes ack and falls over?
Sounds like good insurance.
Every day.
Let's just have one of the people that's currently in the group needs to have it on their inventory. What you do with it later, if you trade it or whatever, that's fine. But I think there's a lot of like bad accounting that has happened because we make complicated things like that. So make sure it's on a sheet is the important thing.
Got it.
So it sounds like Humboldt is marking that down.
Humboldt will put it on, saying, "I'll hand this to Dane as soon as we get upstairs."
Okay.
There are 10 other rings that look valuable, not as distinct as that one. But for accounting purposes, you could all grab 2 of those.
I've got 2.
And then there's the ceremonial mace.
Does it look like a Cuthbertian mace?
I would say no, because it is encrusted with silver and gems. It's much too... Probably more like... Probably Rao. Worshipper of Rao would have such glamour to their...
Does anyone not have silver and use a mace?
Let me see if I can even use mace.
I have my glaive silvered up.
I wouldn't mind having the mace, if that's...
I use arrows and I have silver, so I'm good. I don't need it.
Then you has the mace. If at some point you decide you want to sell it off, maybe think about donating some to charity or something.
Yes. I will always think about that.
We'll find out if it's just ceremonial or whether it really is a good choice of weapon.
Actually, I would really like to do a history check if I could on it.
Sure. Actually, maybe more religion on this one.
Okay, I can do that too.
Yeah, definitely belongs to a follower of Rao, and that would make sense. Rao is sort of like the chief patron of the people that live in Voluna, and the head of the archclericy is a cleric of Rao. And so this would be based on like the value of this thing. Probably like a second tier, like just underneath the archclericy, or the archcleric would wield something like this. Functional as a weapon, sure. But it almost would seem a shame to use it for that because of how valuable it probably is.
Would have I have such deep respect for its historical and religious significance. Would be absolutely not inclined to use it at all, or get blood encrusted on all the gems, or put a dent in it. But I really would enjoy being able to present it back. Maybe it's lost, and maybe those who've lost it would be grateful.
Yeah, given the evidence that you have here and Thorwald's knowledge of what happened to Prince Thrommel, a lot of this is probably from people like part of his party that when he was on his way to Voluna, he was probably with a cleric of Rao, a representative of Voluna. He himself, coming from Furiandi, had the diamond ring. It was likely the wedding ring. There's just a lot of evidence that this is a trophy room of we got the prince, like vengeance maybe from any surviving cult members that maybe were prowling around back here. Thrommel being such the face of the forces that defeated the cult, and that's what this place is.
Then the cleansing ceremony is even more important.
Though, again, if you see a werewolf, just hit him with the mace. I don't want to be pulling that mace out of some werewolf's stomach someday, wondering why someone didn't swing it.
I do have a healthy sense of self-preservation. You might have noticed that, and I will use it for that, I promise. And to save any one of you, I would certainly sacrifice the mace.
Just protection from undead scrolls, always in a ghast's nest, every time.
That is true.
All right. So, having explored this room, gathered up a few things for either sale later or return to the proper people, where would you like to head next?
Intersection with 3 bits. Middle bit was the door?
Yep.
T, L, Y. Thorwald, have you are we playing charades?
Isn't there a room that we did do that like was up from when we were attacked by the trappers?
Yeah.
It was like what, trappers?
Oh, that was the storeroom. That was where like all the crates and barrels.
Oh, okay. All right. So, okay, cool.
Nothing good there, unfortunately.
I think you want to check the door. At this point that we've secured the left flank, you got a green light.
Aye. Fair.
So moving up and checking out this door, and
as he's walking, Humboldt's threading his bandana through the crown. He gets it back on.
Sorry, Alex.
So, if you got someone that's like listening at the door, go ahead and do a perception check.
I can do that. I've got great ears.
I'll let you do it then.
I don't have the heart to tell him how little there's left of them. 14's pretty good.
14.
Great.
Don't hear anything like activity beyond the door.
It's a good sign.
On the count of now.
As you open the door, you are immediately seeing sort of evidence of like this might be the place that you were looking for. Right in front of you, there's a couple of workbenches that are fitted with. You can see like beakers and stoppered glassware and things like that. A writing desk off to the left. There's a wall in front of you, right here, so you can't see like the other side of that and everything that's over there. As you open the door, you do hear some kind of like noise off to like this direction. It almost sounds like something kind of like claws on the stone floor, like something's moving about, and just sort of a low hiss. Kind of raspy breathing.
Does anybody want to go invisible and check it out?
Even invisible, I'm fair loud. But do keep in mind, lots of glass, so swing small.
Yes.
If you want, I can do it if no one else volunteers to be stealthy.
Oh, I don't. Is that a volunteer? Can you volunteer to?
You have to, because you have to be willing.
You know,
If something
Teasley's
hissed
not here.
already, they might have heard us already. So.
Aye. Teasley's not here to encourage this, so I'll go ahead and encourage it for them. On Teasley's behalf, I do endorse making an invisible Thorwald sneak about.
Okay, then I shall cast invisibility on Thorwald. I just reach over and, excuse me.
Yep. Oh, of course.
Still up.
Yep. We'll just slide back and move. There we go.
Here we go. And here's hoping.
All right. So Thorwald, you're kind of sneaking in there. Check it out.
Yeah, but I will go, having heard the noise from the right, I will move to the left first and peek past that wall on the left.
Okay. Give me a perception check at advantage. Or a stealth check at advantage.
Oh, stealth, okay. And the being invisible give me a specific bonus?
It gives you advantage.
advantage.
I'm giving
Got
you
it.
advantage, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Awesome. So it's a 14.
Okay. So you kind of sneak up over this way. You end up maybe just slightly kind of like tripping over an errant piece of glassware or something on the ground. It doesn't like break or anything, and you manage to like reach down and like kind of grab it before it rolls too far, but it did make a little bit of a noise. And almost right as you get there, you can see there's this big tentacled monster that's kind of lurking there, and it was just like sitting there. It's sort of conical shaped head. It was sort of just lying dormant. It almost would have looked like maybe a stalagmite or whatever. But as soon as like you kind of kick that thing, it just like, and all of its tentacles are flailing around pretty rapidly, and it's just kind of turning around, kind of in place, like scanning around the area. What Thorwald would you like to do?
I freeze.
All right. It ends up like moving off in this direction. It's just flailing around like randomly. So it's gonna make an attack roll right here as it moves here at a disadvantage.
Yeah, but it hits.
Okay, it ends up hitting you. As it hits you, it grapples you. Like the tentacle just like wraps itself around your body. And at this point, let's do initiative so we can get a handle on what everyone is up to and doing. So go ahead and roll initiative. All right. So we'll start things off with Noki. At this point, you could just definitely hear that something has awoken from within the room. It's just kind of like it is sort of screaming out a bit, and you hear kind of the thumping of its tentacles as it's hitting random surfaces.
Doesn't sound good. I can't just leave Thorwald in there.
We shouldn't. We could, but we shouldn't.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go. Can I go ahead and try and stealth, or is it too late now?
You could use your action to do a stealth check.
What the heck? No, I'm not. No, I will. Just too cautious to go in there without.
Okay. So that's your
Okay.
action.
Yeah. So now my movement is going to be to stealthily move into the room and hope that nothing sees me. And I obviously will see it.
Yeah, you can see one of its tentacles has reached out and is sort of holding. It looks like wrapped up sort of around nothing, right? But you know better.
Maybe I can make it let go if I do something. I guess yelling would be an action, so I have no action. Let's see.
Just hanging tight, or
I'm going to have to hang tight at this point because there's nothing. I'm just going to go ahead and stay back here. I hope it doesn't notice me yet, and maybe just move enough out of the way that somebody else can come through the door.
okay.
Like here.
Just to go with your intention of being stealth, maybe ducking behind a table or something like that might be a way to maintain that role that you had and whatnot, just in case it comes around the corner.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Mr. Roper here. And he's got multi-attack. Okay. So he is going to use his bite. He will be, even though he's got you grappled, I don't believe. Oh, it does say restrained. Okay, so it'll offset the disadvantage from, it'll just be a straight roll.
It's
21 to hit. Big mouthful of teeth, chomps down 22 points of damage. And it will yank you kind of this way with it. I think that's all it's going to do. Humbled, it is your turn.
What happened? Roar! I am a distraction. And I will rage. And as I get to here, I'll be like, oh, that's a thing. So I'm gonna try and hit it. And I will not be reckless this time. If I go re-roll that, we've got some re-rolls left, right?
Yep. 5
Yay.
rerolls down to 4.
I'm gonna re-roll that. An 18.
Doesn't pierce through its rock hard outer skin.
Oh, I don't like you at all. We're gonna just lean back out of direct eyesight. That was 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep.
All right. Next up is Galileo.
Okay, Galileo's gonna move into the room here. And he's gonna cast Moonbeam on the creature there.
Ooh, nice.
All right. So at the start of its turn, it will make a con save and will roll from there. So a big beam of light just dropped right on top of him. All right. Thorwald, held tightly in the grasp of its tendril, what would you like to do?
I will use Channel Divinity as a bonus action to make myself a peerless athlete, and that will give me advantage on strength acrobatics, and I can carry, push, drag, and lift twice as much normal weight, and I'll try to free myself from this.
Okay. I think that will bring you visible.
Mm-hmm.
And then go ahead and make your check. And you manage to free yourself from its grasp.
So yeah, I did the action, I did the bonus. If I move now, I'm just gonna provoke. So I'm just gonna stay where I am.
All right. And then Rhea, it is your turn.
Right. I'm going to come into the room. Okay, there we go. And then try to shoot at it.
All right. Is it okay if I move you? I accidentally deleted all of my walls, so you'd have to get to like right here to be able to see it. There's actually like a wall in the middle of that room.
That was fair. Yep, that's totally fine. Oh yeah, that would be a crit.
Crit.
Critical hit.
Nice.
So total of 12 damage.
Yeah.
All right, 12 first damage on the roper.
And then I would like to I'm just gonna move back a space if that's a wall to kind of like hide behind that wall, and that's my
Sure.
turn.
And at this point, you hear that hissing and screeching from the original thing that you heard in the room has become aware of you. I'll roll that into the initiative order here. All right, Noki, it is your turn.
Okay. I'm going to. So there's a wall here that I'm hiding behind.
Yes, this.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I can draw it quick.
And so I can't really see anything at this point. Or
You
shoot
can see
anything.
Humboldt gesticulating. It's like it's big. It's got arms, big mouth.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and move. Oh, sorry, Thor. I'm gonna move here where I can see it. And thinking back to my very last experience, I'm not going to do what I was thinking I was going to do. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go ahead and try and use, hopefully it has ears, and I'm gonna go ahead and use vicious mockery and call out to it. And
Okay.
say, in deep speech, which is going to sound very weird, but hopefully it understands that its mother and its father gesticulated in the obviously wrong direction to produce the abomination that stands before me in its complete and total ugliness.
Sounds good.
And oh, and it failed.
It does. We'll use a DM reroll on it.
Oh.
Oh, and it barely passes. So let me count our damage, though.
I don't think it takes the damage, right?
Doesn't take any damage.
Yep. All right.
I would have known that.
All right. Then, from the eastern side of the room, you hear this screeching and this fast-moving sound of feet, claws on the stonework. And almost like instantaneously, Galileo, there's like this demon, almost somewhat emaciated looking and just horrific face, fangs out, claws out, almost like almost reminds you of like a demonic looking ghoul. How it's kind of got some blood that stained its teeth, and it's right up in your face and is attacking relentlessly. So he's got 2 melee attacks. But first, as its eyes kind of latch onto yours, they light up with this infernal, kind of sickly green light. Give me a Constitution saving throw.
Good roll.
All right, you make the save. Nothing further happens to you from that. And he's going to make 2 claw attacks. 17 to hit.
That hits.
This has been a rough day for Galileo. 7 points of damage.
7.
Second attack is a 17 also.
Oof.
That one for 11 points of damage.
Oh.
Still up?
Yes.
Okay. Then it's the Roper's turn. Roper is first going to try to use a tendril on Thorwald.
I think he has the moonbeam on it.
Oh, that's right. He's got Moonbeam. Let's resolve this first. A 21 to hit.
But 21 will hit, yes.
Okay, so he's got you grappled. Let me do the moonbeam quick. Con save. 11. So he'll take full damage there, Galileo, if you want to roll that up for me. Although, you got to mix some... Let's see how many dominoes backwards and actions that we got to do. You got to do some concentration checks.
Concentration. See, what do I roll for concentration?
Just make 2 Constitution saving. Okay, first one is good.
11 and 17 both pass.
The 11
Oh,
was
there's
from
the
me.
one.
Oh.
No!
See, this is where I can get some rerolls deducted. You want to use a reroll?
Galileo!
Okay, I'm going to
Reroll.
re-roll that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, second one is good. Now roll me your spell damage.
Thank you, Galileo. I'm toasty if you don't do some damage with that creature because it's gonna get me every round. Like,
Nice.
Right, 16 points to the roper. All right. So we will continue with his crazy actions that he's got. We'll go ahead and resolve this bite right away. Takes that at advantage.
but 17 misses.
Oh, I better reroll.
Aw.
Oh no! Come on, Alex.
I've only used 2.
Come on. 26.
There it is. 22 points.
Easily 22 more. I'm down.
Oh no.
He moves here. And he's got 2 more actions. So he's going to do a tendril at Noki and a tendril at Humboldt.
Dexterity?
No, these will be attack rolls. Actually, I'm not going to break it up like that. I'll see what happens first. This first one at Noki. Said that mean thing about his mom. A 22 to hit.
Oh yeah.
Wraps you up. You're grappled, and then he reels you in, and pulls you right close. It looks like you're probably the next, going to be the next bite victim. But it becomes Humboldt's turn next.
So Humboldt will... Wait.
Wait, do I get to do? Oh no.
Okay. Humboldt will attack with his glaive. Recklessly, because why not? And 24 hit.
That'll hit.
We'll do some damage. 13 points of damage. We'll attack with the back end of the glaive. 19.
19 doesn't get there.
Good gracious. Okay. That's what we'll do.
All right.
You know what? I'm gonna gamble one thing. I'm gonna take one step back this way.
Okay, sounds good. Next up is Galileo.
I'm going to disengage and try and move away from this creature here.
Okay, that sounds good.
And I'm going. I believe I can move my moonbeam back on the other creature bonus action, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't move that circle, so.
I got it.
Oh, wait a minute. Maybe. Okay.
Alex did it.
All right.
All right.
Let's see now. I think I took my actions, so I don't think I can do anything else.
All right. That'll bring us to Thorwald, who's got a roll to make.
Most definitely. You gotta remember where the death savings are. Here it is. Death saves. Normal.
Reroll or let it stand?
I'm gonna have to reroll this. So.
All right, so 1 success. And that'll bring us to Ria's turn.
All right. I'll stay where I am. And I'm going to be shooting at the tentacle guy.
Sounds good.
Okay. 13 hit.
13 will not. Arrow just kind of breaks as it hits its body.
Okay. Feel like we need to save any rerolls we have left for, getting out of grapples, so I won't use one.
Sounds good. Oh, yes. Moonbeam is an action to move, but
It's an action, not a bonus action?
Chat is saying it's an action, and now that they say that, that is my recollection as well as it's an action, but oh. Let's see. I remember it being an action because I'd always pick fire flaming sphere instead of that.
Okay, it does say it's an action. Okay, so I wouldn't have been able to move it then.
Sorry, I am lawful, he says. Well, I didn't catch it, so we'll just let it stand, I think. Okay, we'll go back to the top here. And Naki, it is your turn.
Okay, so do I get a strength?
You could
saving
use
throw?
it's not a saving throw. You can use your action to try to escape by either doing a acrobatics or an athletics check.
Okay. Either one of those is about the same, so I'm going to go ahead and try. I'm going to use acrobatics because it's dex and not strength. So that means that I don't have disadvantage then.
The 21 will do it,
that's
so you free yourself from the tendril of the roper.
Okay, and then I am going to use my movement. See where I can. Oh gosh, we're. I'm going to use my movement to get away from it, out of reach of the tendrils, and
Okay.
attack.
If you move away, it will attempt attack of opportunity, likely.
Okay, that is true. But if I stay, it will grapple me again. and I can't disengage.
Not
I'm
not
just-
during this turn, yeah.
Yeah, no. So I'm just like I don't have any action right at this point
Correct.
other than
I mean, you have the bonus action if you want.
well, that's right. Sorry, I don't know him that well as a player. So let me go see what his bonus actions are.
Bardic Inspiration or
Healing word.
Yeah, no, none of those things is really gonna do much.
Ooh,
I can
ooh,
Well,
give
Healing Word
But
might help
one
Thorwald.
actually does.
I can do healing word on Thorwald, and I will do that for sure.
All right.
So here you go.
nice.
Appreciate it.
All
Thank
right,
you.
4 points back.
I have that.
All right. And then making the decision to stay put.
Well, I guess. Yeah, no. If I move, and he hits me, I'm dead. So I guess I'll hold still.
All right. The demon here is coming around the corner. 5, 10,
thanks for the gems,
15,
man.
5.
Humboldt will give it a thwack as it gets a little bit closer,
Okay.
or try to at least. Ah, nope.
There are 2 rerolls left.
Use
What
it.
language
Everything
does a
does.
demon speak?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll use one of the 2 rerolls.
Use the humble. We're really
Probably
Yeah.
Abyssal.
for the crabs here.
Unfortunately, that brings it up to a 12.
That will miss. And chat has redeemed by everyone a reroll, so you guys are up to 7 rerolls.
Yay, chat!
Thank you, Chris.
And let's see. Okay, so you just took a swing at it. It's going to use its Withering Gaze feature on you. Constitution saving throw.
Constitution saving throw. We'll re-roll that. And it's a 10.
Ooh, okay. Well, you're going to not like this.
I believe you.
You deal only half damage with weapon attacks that use strength for the next minute.
Ah,
Saving throw is repeatable at the end of each of your turns.
Roger, roger.
Creature does that, but its attacks still are coming towards Galileo. First one is a claw. 13 to hit.
That misses.
Second attack is a 18.
That hits.
5 points of damage.
Galileo's down.
All right. Moonbeam disappears. And then it is the Roper's turn. The Roper is going to try to grapple Naki. $22 just got out of its grasp and it pulls you back in and will attempt a bite attack.
that hits.
$27 points of damage.
I'm down.
And it's got 2 more things. It's going to try, one of its tendrils is going to try to grab hold of Rhea. Uh, 19 to hit.
Yes, that hits.
And so it's got you grappled, and then it reels it in. And so now you're right next to where Naki just got knocked down. And so it's got the two of you both kind of wrapped up in its tendrils. And that'll bring us up to Humboldt.
Really wish somebody had been selling healing potions. So he's just gonna swing for this demon. I'm gonna call you Beeman. Attack. Normal. 16.
16, I believe that hits. Yes, it hits.
Alright. And then half of this. No. Wrong. Half of this. So 8.
8 points, okay.
And then we'll hit him with the backside of the thing, hopefully. Crit on that one.
Nice.
So 10 down to 5.
All right.
And then a con save.
Yep. DC, what was it? 15. 13.
Yay!
13. All right, you got it. So that effect is no more.
And some of that was radiant, but not all of that was magical, but all of it was done with a silver weapon. Does any of that matter?
Oh, it's a non-magical weapon?
It is a non-magical weapon.
Yes, it does
I
matter.
regret to have told you that. Well, give me 1 second. 6, 3. 3 points of damage were radiant. The rest was non-magical.
Okay.
If someone could wake up Galileo, he's bleeding on my foot. And that's all I got.
I realize
We're really short of manpower.
but I'm currently grappled, so I can't actually do anything with it. But, you know, if I get out of it, I'll be over there.
Okay, sorry. I gotta figure this accounting out with what happened with these damage.
Oh,
So the first
sorry.
glaive was
So hang on. I did a total of 13 points of standard and 3 points of radiant.
okay. The 13 should be 6, and then the second attack
14, 14
was
14 and 3.
Yeah, so if you add 6 back to him, that will be correct.
okay. Can I get the total? I just need to get the total.
Sure.
So the first
6
attack
plus
was
3 is 9. So 9 total damage to him.
9 damage. Okay.
9 total damage.
All right. So next up, we've got Galileo, who is down. There's a chat singing you a song right now. Give us a death saving throw.
Let's see. Where's the death saving throw?
If you open up your sheet in Foundry, you can click on death saves, I believe, and that should open up the prompt to make the roll.
Cliff, it's right under spellbook. You see where you have spellbook, right? Just scroll down with your eye, and you're gonna see death save, exhaustion, inspiration. Click on death saves.
Or you could just roll a d20 and
I'll just roll a d20.
Yep.
Da.
And that's one success.
Thanks for the raid. I'm Butterbee.
Welcome, Raiders. Thanks for stopping by, Armin. We are in the midst of a combat that's
Not going well.
Not
It's
going well.
going very well.
So
Really?
they're
In your dreams, Cassie, is going well.
We always wanted to give him overconfidence.
They're currently doing
Yeah.
battle with a roper, and a what do you call this thing? A babu.
What's
So
a
yeah,
bow?
we got
Wow.
at least what 2 characters are down currently. Another one is grappled. We're going right over to Thorwald, who's just regained consciousness.
Ray is gonna do what he does best. Hopefully, we'll see. So bonus action rage, and then try to hit it with a flaming sword. Now with an 8, so it's gonna reroll that.
Ten won't get there. All right, that will bring us to Rhea, who's currently grappled.
All right. So I guess I'll do athletics to try and get out of this.
Okay.
Ooh, nice. And then I know it will give me an opportunity attack, but I'm gonna run away anyway.
Okay. 10 doesn't quite do it.
Oh, sorry. I saw it. Never mind. I thought it was a different number. Nope, we're good.
You got 5 rerolls. Would you like to use
roll
one?
it up?
I would like to use reroll. Okay.
That will do it.
That'll do it. Okay. And I was like right there, so I know this thing has a pretty tremendous reach. So I'll take my opportunity attack, and I'm going to I guess scoot over here, even though it'll be next to the demon, but
All right. It'll make the opportunity attack 25.
absolutely hits.
And it does 28 points of damage.
Oh, good God. Okay. What even is my health? Is that my health?
I think it hit you right on the dot to go down to 0.
Right on the dot, yeah. Right on the dot. Cool. I'm down.
All right.
That was not good.
Whew. Are we seeing a TPK in the making?
Yes, definitely we are
Looks
seeing
like
that.
it.
Naoki, it is your turn.
We got 2 players up, or
I think Naki is still up, right?
Yeah, Nock is still up.
Yeah, Naki
They've
is
got
just
3.
grappled.
But
Before I went down, I did say I have a healing potion on my person.
Yep.
Anyone needs to take the healing potion from a person.
Are you muted?
Chris in the chat is asking what he needs to what is needed. I would say
miracle.
nat 20s on death saves are what's needed probably, or healing potions.
pray to set Carpe for us.
my fungal infection isn't going to let me die, is it? Wants to keep me alive.
I didn't realize I was muted, but I was grappled and then I was bitten when I was grappled. So the bite put me down.
Oh, you are down. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to do my death saving throw.
All right.
Come on, 20.
Did it roll?
Not yet.
Why won't
Give it a sec. There's like a 3 to 5 second lag.
Or if you want, you could use this natural 20
Thank
that
you,
just
Jenna.
came through from Jenna.
Thank you, Jenna.
Thank you, Jenna. Yes.
All right. So you have 1 hit point, and you can take your turn. You're still grappled. That hasn't changed, but
Okay, so what can I do when I'm grappled?
Basically, you could still do any spell casting that you might have and things like that. You just can't move, and if you're trying to make melee attacks and such, those would be at disadvantage.
Okay, so I'm going to cast Healing Word on myself.
Okay,
Can I do?
sure.
Okay. Okay, so now I have 6 whole points. And that was a bonus action. So then my action, I'm going to go ahead and try and do the acrobatics save again and get ungrappled. Oh, yeah, no, that didn't work.
That will keep you held.
How many rerolls do we have?
4 left in the
4.
tank.
Can I do anything like throw something while I'm grappled?
You can. It'll just be at disadvantage.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and try and throw a potion of healing.
Oh, okay. And where are you trying to?
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and try and throw it over towards Humboldt, who's the only one standing at this point.
Okay. Sounds good. I will say that you're able to like kind of toss it down over here, the next square behind you.
Mm-hmm. So roll?
No roll. I mean,
No roll. Okay, cool.
there's a wall there, so I think with the I just don't think it's possible to like truly sail that way. But you could kind of drop it behind you, and Humboldt, I'm sure, sees that. And in fact, Humboldt, as that potion of healing drops down here in this square,
Mhm.
you see there's another little potion actually just sitting right here on this desk here. There are 2 healing potions here. Thanks, Ike, for the healing potion. And that'll bring us then around to the demon, who is going to turn its attention to Humboldt.
Hello.
Give me a Constitution saving throw.
You already did this to me once. Aren't I immune?
It doesn't have that language on this particular ability, so.
Arg. Why 10s? I will
Reroll.
blow one of the rerolls. I really would like to be able to do damage. 14?
Yep, that will do it. Then he makes 2 claw attacks.
21 hits.
There's the damage. Second attack.
11
will
misses.
miss. Go over to the roper.
And here
Um,
we go.
Yes, so Thorwald, you're the only one well, it's got Naki, I guess.
It's got me, yes.
We'll see what happens with its tendril. It's gonna try to use its tendril to wrap up Thorwald. Got you. 3 of its tendrils are wrapped up here. The coin flip, I guess. Thorwald. Attack with the bite with advantage.
Oh.
I'm down.
Makes it.
I'm down. I have 4 hit points. So.
All right. That will bring us to Humboldt.
Potion open, Galileo glug glug glug. Wake up, buddy. Come on. Come on.
Huh?
On your feet now, fella. Don't look at the demon. Don't look at the demon. Could you do something about waking all them up real quick? Thanks. And then he'll turn his attention back to the demon. Hi, I'm a distraction. And that's... I don't think I'm allowed to attack with the back end of my staff if I don't attack with the front end. So go ahead.
All right. Let's see. Do we get that roll for the potion?
Oh, 2d4 plus 2, right?
Yep.
Five.
All right. So 5 points back to Galileo. And you know, it's looking pretty rough here. So and the chat wants to help. I will say if someone redeems a wandering encounter, that wandering encounter could be Ulgrist.
Or our 4 friendly trolls that we've hired.
Minus the fight with the Athens.
Yeah, that's really might be busy right now.
Why do we fight? We fight for the booty. Why do we raid? We raid for the booty.
Well,
Why do we die?
Galaxian
Die
just
for the
did
booty.
it. All I had to do is say the thing, and Galaxian has redeemed Wandering Encounter. So
Wow.
we'll roll Ulgrist in at the end of this round. Okay, Galileo, you are up.
Thank you, Galaxian. You probably saved them.
Thanks for the follow, Free Range Miniatures.
Galileo is casting Thunder Wave on the demon.
Okay. Con save. All right, he makes it. He'll take half. Some amount of the glassware and whatnot from those tables breaks and blows past.
Geez.
4 points there. Okay. Unmoved.
Well, that's disappointing.
Oh, Galaxian says there are some rerolls in there that we missed, so we'll add those in.
Is anybody up that can actually move?
Just humbled probably at this point.
Whoa! Thanks for the jams, man.
Okay.
Hey, thanks for the cheer. All right, anything else, Galileo?
Well, no, I think I don't think I should move, but I'll probably go down next turn anyway. I'll just stay where I am, I guess. Hope
All
for the
right.
best.
All right, sounds good. Thorwald, it is your turn.
Yeah, big save coming. 1 success.
All right. And then next up we've got Rhea.
Whoa! Thanks for the jams, man.
Is that a dex save or a death save from me?
Yep.
Alrighty. That rolling?
Not yet.
Okay.
Hold on. The chat just redeemed award a natural 20 on a death save.
Ooh.
So you could take that and have 1 hit point and have your full turn here.
Oh, okay, cool, awesome. Okay.
And you actually are not grappled because it hit you with the opportunity attack. It didn't bother grappling you.
And
But
there's a
if I
healing
leave, I'm
potion.
gonna take an opportunity attack again.
There's a healing potion right next to you.
Jeez. And everyone but Humboldt is down. Is that right?
And
Uh,
Galileo's up yet.
Okay, but I'm not grappled, so I can't disengage, right?
You could disengage and move away. Yep.
Okay, so then can I see disengage this way? I suppose. Stay away from that demon.
Oh, there was a healing.
That will be my turn, I suppose.
Sounds good. So in this moment, through the doorway, you see Ulgrist pop his head in, and he's just like, "Yeah, Ulgrist had a feeling you might need him. My Ulgrist sense went off." So we'll roll him into the combat here as well. And got a 10. Okay.
I had a feeling when we first met Ulgris that one day he would save our lives.
All right. We're to the top of the order. We will say, Rhea, when you came down here to the end of this workbench, you also identify and spot that there's a healing potion on it. It is Naki's turn.
Okay, so I'm going to try and get out of this again. And wasn't there still a healing potion on the ground behind me?
I think you dropped one there, yes.
Okay. So if I get out, that would be good. Try acrobatics again.
All right, you may manage to make yourself freed from its tendril.
Okay, can I disengage at this point?
You can't because it's an action to escape.
To escape. Okay.
Probably could use the cure wounds though. Sure.
I could probably use heal wounds. Yeah, I could probably do that. Who else is down?
I think Thor is down.
You're down. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and give you healing word. And
3 points. All right. That will bring us to the demon. Con save for Humboldt.
He's picking on me.
Makes
21.
it. Attacks.
20 hits.
Damage from him. Second attack.
18 hits.
And damage from that one. Roper. Will attack Tendril to Noki. grapples you and will attack with the bite
That hits.
and the damage.
I'm down again.
And let's see, Thorwald, you're currently grappled, correct?
I mean, I was when I was up, then I went down, so I don't know.
He has not relinquished that, so you're still grappled.
Okay, then I'm grappled.
One of its tendrils, like a fishing line, just goes sailing across the room, and for the first time, you see the incredible reach that these tendrils have, and it's going to try to grab Rhea.
Ooh, that far. Wow.
That far, yep. It's like insane. It's 50 feet is the range of the tendril.
Fighting.
Oh,
Oh,
And
no.
you thought you were free. You got to the end of that table. So you feel it starts to reel you back. It starts to pull you back. That healing potion is there. Would you want to try to reach out and grab it?
Yes, if I could.
Okay. So give me, let's call it an acrobatics check to see if you're able to grab it as you get yanked back. I was thinking that the check would be a 12 to grab it.
Yeah, that sucks. I have a feeling even if I took that healing potion that I would be going down next turn anyway, so maybe it's not even worth it. I don't know.
Well, we have
I guess
a
the
lot
only
of
thing is
rerolls.
nobody else knows it's there.
Yeah.
Can I, while I'm being reeled back in, call out to them that it's there so that they can use it?
Sure. So you get yanked back. And then it is Humboldt's turn.
ah, boom, boom. He's just gonna start swinging at this demon. He seems to have no trouble hitting me, so we're going to go reckless and 24.
Got him.
And give me a second. 6 points of radiant of that 21. So
okay.
13 total.
Yeah. And then other side 17 hit.
17 hits the demon, yep.
And then 9 more points of non-radiant.
All right. It's Ulgrist's turn, and he just pokes his head in. He looks at Galileo. He's like, "Is this little runt giving you problems? Hey, man." He just goes and swings his hand in through the door frame. These are my client. Hey, oh, and he dodges out of the way of the first one. And he's a little spry. Second attack. That'll hit. Ends up dealing 17 points. Halved, though, so. And then he's going to try, he kind of claws him in, and then he takes a bite attack. But that one will miss. All right, Galileo, it is your turn.
Galileo is going to do guiding bolt at the roper.
Okay.
Reroll, please, Cliff.
Okay, I will re-roll.
Yep.
Come on. Oh, jeez.
That will miss.
So I don't think I can do anything else then.
All right.
Um, yeah.
Galileo. Sorry, Thorwald.
Okay, so I went down with the rage, so the rage is off. I cannot use it anymore. However, before this, at the beginning of this fight, I cast through my channel divinity, Peerless Athlete. That gives me advantage of strength checks, which should
Okay.
offset the disadvantage for being grappled. So I'll still try to attack the creature with the flaming sword
Does it
and see if it does anything.
Well, hold on though. Is it advantage on strength checks or is it on attacks? Because they'd be different.
It's on strength checks, but the restrain, it gives disadvantage to strength, right, or to the attack.
To attacks.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's still disadvantage, but I'll still go
Yeah.
for it. Actually, it's impossible because I would have to roll 2 20s for that to work. Well, I'll still try. Why not? Actually, let me think about this. I'm restrained, so I cannot move even 5 feet. And Noki is down. I gotta. Sorry. Give me 1 second, because this could be a difference or not. Touch. Shield of Fate is bomb action. Touch. Both my Cure Wounds and Lay on Hands require touch. I don't think I can get to Noki, no matter what I do. So I will try. Honestly, given the situation, there's not much else I can do other than try. So disadvantage.
Yep. That'll miss.
17 will miss. Yeah.
Go for the reroll. We got him.
What
Go for it.
You want me to reroll a disadvantage? Okay.
Use
I'll
it.
do that. Okay.
I believe in your dice.
Miracles are very.
Only they had a bardic inspiration die on that would have been.
I did my best. I really did my best.
Close.
All right. That will bring us to Rhea.
All right. Yeah, I am going to well, I only have 1 HP. So is it an action to pull out my weapon?
No. You can
Okay.
interact with an object or whatever as kind of a free thing, so you could totally pull a different thing out.
I'll pull out my short sword and I'm just going to try to whack it just to try and help bring this thing down, because I have a feeling even if I got out of the grapple, I couldn't run away because I can't disengage. So I have a feeling that no matter what, I got one more turn in me before I go down. So why not use it?
All right. And the attack would be at disadvantage, and given what that roll is, that one's gonna miss.
Yeah.
It's almost like a puzzle fight because of the action economy really screws you over on this bugger. I think at this point Ulgrist would probably suggest to Humboldt and Galileo he can handle this twerp if you want to go and help the others with their situation. But that's what he'll say. Noki, it is your turn.
Yep, mute.
There's only one thing I can do on my turn, and so I'm going to go ahead and do it.
All right, and it is a success. That will bring us to the demon. Demon turns its attention at this point to Ulgrist. Will attempt to use its weakening gaze. Ulgrist will make a con save. Makes it. And 2 attacks on Ulgrist with the claw. First one misses. Second one misses. That'll bring us to the roper. We will have it. It's going to attack Thorwald. Another chomp. And then Humboldt's turn.
All right, so Humboldt's gonna start moving away. Any reaction from Demon Bib?
I'm going to say no at this point. It's locked up with Ulgrist.
All right. Galileo, can you feed a potion to Gnocchi there?
Okay.
Okay. Good, because I really want to. And then he swings like crazy at every tentacle he can see. And glaive. Reckless. Crit.
Nice.
Thank you. 28 points of damage.
That's a big ouchie.
And then Reckless. 24.
That'll hit.
And then another 10.
All right, it's still up, but we could probably safely say you managed to thwack and sever one of those tendrils off of its body. There's sort of discharge and fluid that's squirting out from the wound.
Oh, I like fighting these so much more than demons. Demons, I'm just like, boing. These are like, thwong.
Ulgrist is up, and he's going to take a few attacks here on the demon. That one misses. Second one hits. Five. And a bite.
Does he still have the effect?
I'm sorry?
I was just wondering if he still had the effect. For
What?
half.
He
Or is
never
that
had
just-
it. No, he succeeded when he did it earlier. He's at half damage just because Ulgrist's claws aren't magical. So.
Okay.
Galileo,
Thanks.
it's your turn.
Okay, Galileo is going to move away and how come I can't move?
I think you must be on some kind of drawing tool. Just click the little.
Oh. Okay, he's going to move over here, grab that potion, and give it to Noki.
Okay. So 2d4 plus 2 to Noki.
Am I supposed to roll or?
Sure.
9 points.
9 points back to Noki.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that'll bring us to Thorwald.
Okay, Thorwald will same situation. So all I can do is hope to hit, because unfortunately I cannot get to anybody. Attack at disadvantage and fails. I'm not gonna
Six
roll this
rerolls.
one.
6 rerolls. Use it. Do it.
Really?
Come
Okay,
on.
I mean,
You
it's
get-
a
double
waste.
crit. Ah.
Not gonna happen.
Got to play with probability. That's the only way, right?
Yeah.
All right, that'll bring us to Rhea.
All right. I will try to get out of the grapple. Should I re-roll that?
We got 5.
If you want.
All right. Okay.
Good job.
Okay. All right.
All right,
Now,
you're kind of
Robert,
squirming,
no,
kind of trying to, it just like, as it's taking all this damage, you know, its muscles are spasming, and like at some point, you get a little bit of wiggle room, and you're able to like escape, get released.
All right. Is drinking a potion a action?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Then I'm staying where I am and not doing anything else.
That brings us back to the top, and it is Naki's turn.
Okay, so it's my turn. I'm still grappled though, right?
Yes, I believe so. Yep.
Okay. I'm going to not do anything except for give Bardic Inspiration, my last one, and I'm going to give it to Thorwald.
Okay. Anything else?
I'm just going to, other than that, which I'm hoping that the tendrily monster did not recognize, I'm going to just leave it at not do anything else, because everything else that I've done so far has not really been effective except for to put me back down.
All right, sounds good. Demon is up. It is going to do having its little battle here with Ulgrist. Have him do a con save. Fails. Claw attack 1 hits. 8 points to Ulgrist. Second attack also hits. Ulgrist takes a total of 13 points. Then we're back to the Roper. Roper is gonna try to reel Humboldt in. So a tendril. I believe a 20 hits. He uses an action to reel you in, and then he will use the bite. Here's the damage.
Got it.
Let's see. Let's just bring the whole gang together. This one's at Galileo. 9 misses. All right. Humboldt, it is your turn.
Humboldt's just chewing on the tendril that has him as he swings with his glaive, and gonna go reckless, so normal. Gonna re-roll. Ah! Back end of the staff. Whew. All misses. That's it.
Terrible rolls right there.
All right. Ulgrist with the demon. He regens a bit. Let's see, how much is it? 10 points back. So he's doing okay. Bite. Hits. 11. Claw. 17 hits. 16. And one more claw. Oh. Is gonna miss. But Demon is not looking too good at this point. Galileo, it is your turn.
Galileo's going to fire guiding bolt at the roper.
Okay. You like to re-roll.
Yes. Gotta hit one of these one time.
Nice.
Got it.
Good hit.
All right.
Ooh.
And go ahead and describe how the guiding bolt finishes off the roper.
Oh, Galileo, he's just dragging and he just gives it all he's got, and says a little prayer to the stars as he does it.
All right. It almost feels as if there's a nighttime sky for just a second that descends down upon the scene, and as the guiding bolt blows a hole right in the side of this roper, it goes flying back. It releases all of your comrades, and it drops down on the ground over here. You literally needed 14 points. He had 14 points of hit points left. So that happens. Ulgrist makes quick work of the demon in the southern end of the room. At some point, just like goes ahead and grapples him with his two claws and pulls him up, takes a big bite down on his head and yanks it off. And as he does so, the demon just kind of burns up. And there's a very dissatisfied looking Ulgrist who doesn't get the satisfaction of chomping into that body because it goes back to the abyss. He's like, dang. Really looking forward to that.
Well, there's this other one here if you're hungry yet.
Oh.
It looks like
I don't do squid.
I know it doesn't look very appetizing. But we're really glad you showed up when you did.
You saved our life.
Yes, Noki just runs up and actually gives Ulgrist a hug.
Hey, hug's good and all, but you got any gems? Got any money? He kind of gives you like a little bit of a pat. He's very clearly uncomfortable.
Yes. And so I'm going to go ahead and give him, I've got 2 gold rings, right? I'm just going to go ahead and give him 2 gold rings and say, bless you for coming in. I'm glad your troll sense picked up that we needed help.
Yeah, forget Kelno. This is real nice. And he kind of pockets that in his little pouch. I work for you now. How about that?
That's awesome. Wait. That hurt to even say that's awesome. So let me just, and I'm just going to go sit down on the ground for right now. Just That's it. We're friends. Okay, we're partners at this point. You work for me. That partnership doesn't mean that I did get anything from you, but we're partners in working with me. How's that?
So, you've done it. You've secured this old alchemy laboratory that is laid out before you, and it is fully stocked. So, at this point, you're kind of looking over, you're taking inventory. There are files, canisters, flasks, funnels, all the different beakers, and the cookware necessary is here, as well as the ingredients to concoct all sorts of different things, and even tomes that could enlighten one to, with enough time and enough study, could make incredible things with this knowledge that's been compiled here. So probably the first order of business, of course, is going to be getting to it to work on creating what is needed to counteract Zugat Moy's mind-controlling spores that have afflicted a few of the party in Alrum. But the good doctor, who Kelno has brought here to the temple, he might be able to make some healing potions and things like that with enough time. So, anything specifically you want to check out or do, or a conversation you want to have before we close out the session?
Humble to like walk over, pick up that healing potion that eluded Rhea, and just carry it over and hand it to her.
The only thing that Rhea would like to say, besides thank you for the potion, but otherwise, Rhea would like to say, ow!
Yeah, you get that a lot down here.
Ow!
I can cast Healing Spirit, and that should be good to heal some of us for until the spell ends. Whenever you or a creature moves into the spirit space, you can cause the spirit to restore 1d6 hit points.
The healing conga.
Yeah, I was just about to say, my father, since I started playing D&D, has always been able to figure out and like identify those spells that just drive a DM nuts. Yes, you could absolutely all go through the magical healing sprinkler, and let's just forget about rolling, because just going full health, because that's where you'll be.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, it feels so refreshing, though.
So, yeah, so that's where we will end it. I wasn't sure if my group, whenever I had a group go down to the 3rd level, how many sessions it would take to find the lab, and you've managed to do it. So, yeah. So thanks everyone for hanging out and watching us here tonight as we played. This is one of our community campaign games. We do a number of these each month, to sort of welcome people into our community, I guess, and just have an outlet for people to come and play a game on the stream. It's been a lot of fun for me to see that we've got people watching our YouTube, and then they wander in and say, that did seem like fun, and I've been keeping up with the story and like to join in on a game. So don't be shy. Please do jump in and hang out with us in our Discord and let us know if you would like to come and play a game. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do that through our Patreon. I'll put the link to that in the chat. We got one more game before I take sort of a break for a bit, probably. I'm not sure when we'll pick the campaign back up after that. Might be kind of just maybe less frequency, but we'll have to see how that. I'll have to feel that out, how that's going to go. But we got one more game next Saturday at 9 a.m. So if you'd like to see how this all shakes up, we might have room in that game even. So if you want to stop by the channel, just look for the game signups channel within the Discord under Temple of Elemental Evil and get signed up for a game. So let's see if we've got any friends online so we could maybe send a raid somewhere to say hi. Well, you know what? Goodman Games is streaming tonight. Let's go say hi to them. So thanks, everyone. We'll see you all soon.